Hi guys, it's Cassie from Faodail Creation, and I post videos every single Wednesday right here on this channel on how to use your sewing machine and simple sewing tips and tricks. This is the second part to my hexagons video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to piece those hexagons together. I will link the first part of my video on how to cut your hexagons out. So this here is a row of hexagons that I've already cut out and pieced together so you can see what the end result is going to look like. So our hexagons are cut, and from our first video we marked 1/4 inch at each and every point. And now it's ready to sew them together. I've also found that reducing the stitch length for this particular project is also a good idea. What I'm going to do first is sew 2 rows. So this is going to be my first row. We're going to match hexagons right sides together, so you're going to end up with your dots on the outside. Now there's 2 important things to bear in mind when sewing these hexagons. You are going to start at this 1/4 inch and end at this 1/4 inch. You need to leave that space. That's very, very important. The second important thing about sewing these hexagons in place is to do a back stitch at the beginning and the end of each of these dots. Now, if you're anything like me and you like to sew really fast, restrict yourself and turn the dial down to slow. So let's sew our first hexagon in place. I have lined it up with my first dot, and I'm going to take a few stitches forward. And I'm going to press that reverse button on my sewing machine and lock them stitches in place and go forward again. This is my reverse button on my Baby Lock Soprano. So I'm going to press that and I'm going to go in reverse 3 stitches and then come forward again. And I'm just coming to the next notch here, so I'm just going to be careful because I don't want to go too far over that dot, and I'm going to reverse. And then go over again. So that is my first hexagon complete, and don't worry if you didn't go quite to the dot. It's if you go beyond the dot where it's going to matter. Another important tip: do not press. Leave it unpressed, and we are going to carry on right up here with our next hexagon patch. So we are going to line them right sides together. And then you see you've got the dots on the outside. And like before, we are going to stitch these into place. So just line your hexagon with that first dot. And then start to sew. Press your reverse key. And then go forward. You're coming to the end. Press the reverse key and go forward. And just stop before you get to that dot. So continue on. I'm just going to do a row of 5 and I will meet you back here. So I have my first row of 5 complete. I am now going to do my second row of 5. Okay, so now I have my 2 rows complete. Don't press them. I know it's hard, but don't press them with anything. And how these are going to join together, I'm going to just show you. Right like this. So you're going to interlock them just like that. So I'm just going to interlock them again, like so. And I'm going to start with this top one right here. So of course you have to put right sides together, like so. So I'm just going to pick these 2 up. See how they interlock? You're going to go right sides together. So you're locking in these 2 corners right here. Like so. So your 2 rows should end up looking a bit like this. One's going straight across and the other one's going at a diagonal. Now this is where your dots come into play again. So you've got right sides together and you're going to want to move your next hexagon down because you don't want to sew that other hexagon in place. Move that other one out of the way, and that's why we left that 1/4 of an inch seam, and we are going to stop at this dot here and backstitch. So it's going to get a little bit tricky, but you're going to bear with it because I know you can do it. So I've found my dot and I'm going to start it off. I'm going to reverse back one more time and then I'm going to go forward and I'm coming down to this other dot and making sure that my other hexagon that's connected is completely out of the way. And I'm going to reverse and cut off my thread. So this is what your first one's going to look like so. And then we're going to get right sides together again, and we've got this teal coloured one now against the purple, and we want to sew these in place. We want to move this green one out of the way and we want to sew across our next hexagon. So we're going to go forward, reverse and forward. Being careful not to go anywhere near this green hexagon coming up. Reverse and then go forward. That is our first section done. Now we're going to right sides together again, and we're going to connect this teal and this green together. And like I said, you want to make sure that this purple is out of the way, and we're just connecting these two greens, this green and this teal together, making sure the purple is out of the way and this green next to it is out of the way. So I'm all lined up, I'm ready to go. I'm going to take my few steps forward, go reverse, go forward again, go reverse and cut off. And here you go, that's my second row complete. Let's continue going all the way down and we'll have our row complete. Don't press. Once again, right sides together. Keep this teal away, keep this teal away, and sew the two greens together. Go forwards, lock it in, go reverse, go forwards, keep away from that upcoming teal, go back, go forwards, and cut off. And this is what your finished row of hexagons is going to look like. And yes, now is the time you're going to press. Obviously you're going to have a lot more rows than me. This is just an example of how to put your hexagons together. So let's go and press and see the finished result. So this is my finished row of hexagons. So just remember, tighten your stitches. Don't go too far to your 1/4 inch seam. And you will have a row of hexagons that looks a little bit like this. Obviously don't use white thread, use something a bit more contrasting with whatever fabric you are using. So this here is an example of when you get far too close to your 1/4 inch seam, you are going to end up with a pucker that looks like this. So if you have got something that looks like this, you've gone too close to your 1/4 inch dots. And also, if you can see here, my stitching was too wide apart. So that's when I'm saying just narrow your stitches so you don't see these stitches coming through. And this is how it looks like when I narrowed my stitches. You can hardly see it. You can see it a little bit more because I've used a white thread, but overall it's a very good completed hexagon row patch. I know there's more than one way of creating hexagons, but this is just another way for you to think about. I hope that this video has helped, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss seeing me next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.